decide which one to go for. Or it might go for a complete third pick and leave both open.
And I was going to say, you can actually leave the Lulu up because if you're trying to play full-on aggression, Lulu is a support that can be picked on. Yes, of course, if you're not successful in your aggression, it's going to really backfire and it's going to look awful, but you can pick a Thresh into a Lulu.
Yes, you can.
You can gank a Lulu time and time again with an aggressive jungler. That's something that is a big risk, but it makes sense with the win conditions that Misfits have.
Lulu is so squishy in the early game. We took away some of her HP. She's rushing an Ardent Sensor. One hook onto her from a Thresh, and you're most likely killing her, or at least forcing a flash from her. So that is definitely an option. I love the Tristana. Again, you need the tower pushing potential for Ansama, because again, the goal is not just to kill the bot lane, it's also to take that tower as fast as possible.
How else is he going to go forward?
The question also is now, what are the answers to any potential Jace? They're going to grab the J4. This makes a lot of sense. Once again, kind of indexing towards early game, someone who can get very involved, and especially if you want to go in preparation for that Thresh pick, maybe later on. This is very strong early game jungle.
And normally, again, we see teams go for jungle now and then AD carry. And that means the Jace could still be banned in the second phase by Misfits. But SKT already in the first game, they didn't pick early AD carry. They saved it for later. They had the Caitlyn pick. There's enough AD carries available for them to play that they were okay kind of sacrificing Bang at least a little bit in the pick and ban phase.
And that's why you have to take it in consideration against this team, because they've shown the ability to do that. They showed that they weren't actually really harmed by it as well. So now big decisions, and it is going to be the Jace. It will be the AD carry pushed down to the next round. And now for Misfits, it's, well, do you try to draft something that's strong into Jace right now, or do you grab your support? Because there's the ability to actually target the top lane if you do the standard support pick here. You also can theoretically flex that J4 up to the top side, and it's actually going to be neither of those. So this may be a top Jarvan. We still have to take that in consideration.
Power of Evil and the team enjoying that lock-in, and they will get themselves the Orianna. We see the Jace, as we said, being locked in. Ken Flex. Blank decides to go for the Gragas, as we see what's going to happen here in the second ban phase. Misfits to ban 9.
And Orianna really is the #1 pick for Power of Evil. It's been the #1 pick for him for so many years now in the EULCS. And of course, Faker loves to take it as well for himself, especially if he needs to blind pick anything. But it is on Power of Evil for now.
Something we also have to keep in mind here is if Faker wants to be influencing the side lanes, as he did in game #1, Taliyah is still on the table here. And Taliyah, I think, is a fine matchup into Orianna. You can get out into those side lanes, help to try to snowball the Jace, and that's something that we're going to have to see Misfits at least be taken into consideration.
And it could be a pick he's been practicing on. It's never that successful for him in the LCK itself, and it's always been more about Crown and BDD and these guys. But again, you never know, because you're coming into the playoffs. Of course, he could have spent the entire week just practicing Taliyah only to have it ready for this game.
And I'm always going to give Faker the credit that he can play any champion in the game. And despite the fact that there are multiple support bans on the playmakers, Rakan is still available.
Yes.
So they're targeting more Ignar as a player rather than actually, the support champion. Oh my God, the Leona, this makes so much sense going into Lulu. We talk about champions that can pick on Lulu in the early game. We talked about Thresh. We talked about Blitz. We did not talk about the Leona.
Shame on us.
This is a pick. I mean, this is something you talk about last year. Misfortune coming out and changing a series. This could be that for this year.
And Bang is again looking at one of the scaling AD carries that can't do all the net phase. We got a Vayne now?
Okay, Vayne into Leona. If you are incredible, you can actually buffer your Condemn and knock back the Zenith Blade from Leona, making it very ineffective, but you cannot mess up that at all.
And again, you're picking Vayne right now. We know how little you're going to offer in the early game. Yeah, there is a chance of moving Lulu to mid here, but it would be a surprise because Lulu has not been used in a long time. And there's that Taliyah you mentioned, Azale. Like, Faker, been practicing it, want to have it ready for this game.
It's the best player to ever play the game. You're going to give him the credit that he can play a meta champion in the mid lane. And Taliyah, again, is going to be someone who can get out to those side lanes. We have to see, is now this going to be a Jarvan top or is it a Jarvan jungle? The last pick will be deciding the rest of the draft, but either way, you're going to have to take into consideration the early roam power from the Taliyah. So this is a Jarvan top. And Misfits have crafted a pretty insane draft. They still want to have the Ardent Sensor win condition for the Tristana, so great. You're saying you have this aggressive bot lane, you get super ahead, then you have the Ardent Sensor, the shields on your AD carry with the Orianna and the Ivern, and you try to push turrets.
And I want to see Faker's performance as well with Taliyah, because he's going to be so important when it comes to protecting his sides. Kept trying to pick it over and over during the summer split, but never again to me stood out as one of those really epic Taliyah players that you always have to respect and ban it away from. But I'm glad to see him go back to basically his most big champion actually during the summer split itself, and I want to see him carry now on this champion because Korean Taliyahs are just another level.
I mean, Taliyah has just been smashing it in this tournament. Almost a 73% win rate here at Worlds for players on Taliyah. Has been such a pivotal pick, but really, it's kind of crazy we're talking so little about the Vayne. When the Vayne is locked in, it's almost taking
who's it in first
to all these other picks that are happening. The Ivern, the Leona, the Taliyah for Faker, so much happening in this draft, and I feel like SKT will have to execute to perfection with a comp like this, because while, yes, there is the ability for a Jace and a Vayne in the side lanes being supported by the Taliyah completely taking over, one misstep on those sort of champions, you get put behind. And when a Vayne is behind a Tristana, good luck holding your turrets.
Good luck indeed. We see both teams now bringing out their own comps, their own styles. Misfits feeling their own game here on the World's quarterfinal stage against the World Champs. We are into Game 3. It is 1-1 as we see who can take this third match.
And something insane here, Ignar is actually going Fervor of Battle on Leona. This is 100% for the early game. He's going to stack it very quickly with the spells and indexing so heavily for the early damage. It's not a Thunderlords. This is very, very interesting. We're going to have to see if it pays off because he's going to be much squishier as a result without actually having that tank masteries.
But for Ignar, it's all about just killing people right in front of him. And if he's going first and there's an Ivern there, there's a Tristana, they have the damage, at least with Hansama in the early game, to kill something like a Lulu that's so squishy. Maxlaw's job here is build Ardent Sensor and then be ready to babysit his bot lane. Because with this Ivern, your first clear is not great. You drop very low from it, but once you go back to base and return out on the map, you can start kind of outpacing the enemy jungler and really be active in lanes.
You really can, but for Blank, he has seen what the strategies have been. And again, it does look like a case where you want to go to the bot lane. But Blank is going to be torn between both these side lanes, which can be extremely successful, but also very vulnerable when put behind. I mean, when you look to the top side, Jarvan plus the Ivern is certainly a duo that could take down a Jace who's pushing too far up. And likewise, Bang and Wolf will have to play this early game exceptionally careful.
Just a cut of 50 damage off of Blank's health as they make their way into the jungle. Zenith Blade first, Sunlight passive damage as well is something you have to watch from Leona in the early game. It can easily put you in a bad situation as SKT is trying to disrupt quite a bit.
Yeah, I love the starting bot lane.
Hansama keeping that W on the ready as he jumps in for Bang and a little bit of damage, but they lose that trade.
Yeah, actually really bad start for Misfits here. Flash already forced on Power of Evil. Blank is pushing Maxlor off of his jungle camps, and the bot lane took a pretty rough trade here. And Leona from behind is actually abysmal. You need to be able to go aggressive or you can't do anything.
Well, they try to get to the front already. Ignite goes down immediately. No flash forward, but the heal comes out. They turn to Wolf as Bang feels like he can get back into the fight. Just 150
has no heal.
Hansama, one more shot as Wolf wants the glitter lands. Bang almost died. Barrier comes in. Blood onto Bang. Fight in the jungle still. Here comes Hansama. Wolf's going down. 2 kills in the bot lane as Misfits pull the trigger.
Misfits will not back down. They're on the Maxlor, though Faker is moving up, but they have killed both the bot lane in 2v2. Blank is level 1. He's gonna get pushed out of the jungle, and Maxlor gets his red buff. Misfits get everything.
All the focus was on the bottom lane while the junglers were trying to fight up top here. Mid laners were in there, top laners as well early on. Maxstar is level 2 now. Blank is back in base. 0 CS so far for him. Has to now go out and take his first camp.
And Bang dies with 3 CS. This is a pickaxe to nothing. Ignar is able to get a good early buy here as well. They will need to keep up the pressure. We'll see if SKT can stabilize, because honestly, this has been such a devastating early game after what they just faced in game number 2.
And I wanted to talk about why Hansama jumped in level 1 and was so aggressive instantly. One of the things he's doing is he runs HP regen runes, and also with the Dawn Shield. So he had 24 HP regen per 5 at level 1 compared to 7 on Bang. So he jumps in, he wants early trades, he wants to get the regen in his favor. Ends up then having another fight a little bit later where suddenly it looks like Hansama is actually dying, but because then of Fervor of Battle on Ignar, he has the damage to kill the Vayne.
And remember, with that Ignite cooldown, that is going to be up before you know, the flashes are up, right? So when Ignar gets that Ignite back, they are level 3. They have the ability to go for this again. Let's watch them play one more time. They're getting chased down. They know they need to turn. And as Bang is pushed out, Misfits are handling this exceptionally well. And Leona is actually getting so much damage out with the fully stacked Fervor, mind you, even through the shield. Look how much damage that auto did.
I mean, it's completely surprising. Bang with the DPS coming level 1 from Ignar here, and then Hansama gets his HP back, returns into the fight, picks up a kill for himself.
I mean, who accounts for an 8-stack Fervor Leona in a level 1 all-in? I mean, it's insane.
Listen, everyone always says, oh,
here they go.
Listen, Wolf gets hit, they're right onto him. Here comes Maxlor too to get a piece of the party. He gets the chance to get in with the shield, and now the assists are going across the map.
Most teams in the world try to copy LCK, to try and play like the Korean teams. They never get to their level, so they can't take them down in these best-of-5 series. Misfits are saying, we don't care about the meta. We don't care about how you play in LCK. They're switching it up completely. So Bang, completely unexpected. A Fervor battle, Leona kills him at level 1.
And I mean, like I said, as a Vayne from behind, good luck clearing the waves against this. Tristana is going to be pushing, and they're looking to fight again, but maybe too far.
Under the turret, condemned, and that's going to be Ignar going down. They're still going to trade on to Bang. Bang cannot get into the fight, but neither can Hansama or Maxlor. They back up, and they have to watch out for Faker.
Yeah, Faker's moving down. He's not level 6 just yet. Still trying to get down here in time.
They actually zoned them off so much farm as well, but Hansama, no summoners. Looks like they are going to get taken out.
He could have the rocket jump as he comes back. He's trying to go for the kill, however, and he keeps Faker from getting an assist on that one. Nicely played. It is going to be Power of Evil just on the edge of Maxlor's shield, and Dissonance to get out. No, just the shield, as he would have wanted the Dissonance for power.
Really nice roam there from Faker, getting down to the bot side, calming things down for SKT. So big that they get those 2 kills back and start to stabilize the game a little bit here. But still, it's Hansama with 3 kills. BF pickaxe to a couple Doran's blades and a dagger.
I mean, look, they're proxying so early in the game just behind the tower here. But because Ignar is onto the body slam to Gragas, he gets pulled under that turret and then knocked further back in. They're still trading 1 for 1. And now it's all about just Faker moving first from that mid lane. Power People not able to follow him instantly. And this is why SKT can actually bounce back with a few kills. Not a whole lot Hansama or Maxlor can do here.
No, certainly not. They were completely corralled. And Faker now is going to be level 6 when we get back into live. And they're going to have to really play around that because these roams will be that much easier for him to pull off.
And we said last game as well, it was good that Misfits in these fights approaching the turret, always getting damage on the turret, always setting up for the next move. Once they break it and the map opened up for them, they took control even more.
And while the Vayne is in this game as a counter to the Leona, Vayne still has all the normal issues for her. Again, she can't push out waves properly. She needs a lot of time before she gets really strong in the game. Maxwell might get caught out here.
Root caller's in. That's not going to be there for Power of Evil, however, and they don't currently have the vision on Faker. Afari takes a shock blast. Gets the flag and drag out to safety. Ignar going in, Sunlight and Root onto Bang. It doesn't look like Hansama can follow up as they were just a little mismatched on their targets, but still winning the trade.
Again, though, that's all the summoners down for Bang. The exhaust is gone for Wolf, and Ignar is going to be level 6 here relatively soon. That level 6 all-in is so exceptionally strong from the Leona, and Bang needs to be careful.
Right now, Bang's condemned to knock the Leona back. It's on a 20-second cooldown. Leona's E herself to actually try and get in is on a 13-second cooldown. So you can play around the CD or the cooldown here on both these abilities.
And it's also why you saw Ignar start off that play with a flash Q. He didn't want to allow him a chance to actually make that happen. You can simply save the Zenith Blade for follow-up damage later on.
Again, we see Moby Boots Maxlor headed towards the bot side to make sure things are safe as Misfits take that vision control across the map.
This is what we talked about before here. Maxlor just wants to get one early rotation of his jungle camps and then go down to the spot lane. It's the second time he's here already. 8 minutes into the game, they take down the tower. That's exactly why they have this Ivern to babysit the bot lane and build that Ardent Sensor.
And Vayne just has so little wave clear for AD carries in this meta. Yes, you could try to rush towards something like a Shiv to help with that a little bit, but Vayne is always really going to struggle to actually clear waves against this pushing style. And now we can see Misfits send their bot lane up to top where, honestly, Alfari is getting abused by Huni and this turret is getting low, but if you can put the dual lane and match up against the Jace, that takes away a lot of the pressure that Jace has.
Misfits here putting value on getting more turrets down instead of securing a Mountain Drake in the early game. Instantly swap to top side. We have to remember this ult here from Ignar. It's fairly landed on things like a Lulu. You can land it on Talia as well if she's not getting a bit of extra movement speed. Same thing for Huni actually, if he's just standing in the middle of the lane. And Ignar is already up here.
Flashes left and right across the map from this Misfits pressure is putting SKT at a deficit already.
Yeah, just a nice roam up from Power of Evil. Maxlor coming down, that forces the flash there out of Huni, and now he has to be worried about any potential dive. So SKT is moving multiple members up here, and they're sending Bang to actually split push down on the bottom.
Huni should have been ready for that little swap though. After the bot lane tower had already died, you always gotta be ready for the enemy dual lane to show up in your lane. In fact, you lose the flash, it could be huge. Ignite's level 6 now.
Sama taking quite a bit of damage as he steps forward. He actually would have found quite a few members of SKT on the other side of that fight. Looks like Faker stays mid lane to farm. As we said, the lanes have swapped, but now Alfari's in that bot lane with Bang. Little mismatch.
It's also looking like PoE is going to be going towards Aroa here, so likely going to be the Roa Nashor's build that he has kind of made famous, I guess.
Could also be the Rod of Ages, it's just Morello for Power of Evil. I don't feel like there's a lot of frontline tanks. He's auto-attacking in this game. It's just blank only.
That's true. When you question him about it, he says it's the fights I can stay in for a long time. Auto-attacking, charging up. This doesn't seem to be one of those, but he has the method to his madness.
Again, remember, there's no flash on Huni's side, and Ignar is level 6. Huni wants to try and surprise Hansama here. They're gonna find him.
He rolled just on the other side. Hansama taking a big hit there as the teleport now coming in from Alfari, and that's Huni going down. A little too strong. Cataclysm onto Wolf. Does Hansama pick up another one? Alfari grabs that for himself.
Grab 2 kills there. They're going to push the turret. There's no one up here to answer. This should be another Misfits turret. They are making it happen. This gold lead is getting enormous. Blank looking for the play.
Maxlor takes a hit, casts back. This one's going to be in the hands of Faker as they make quick work of the mid lane. But top's being taken down. Misfits is winning across the map.
Credit to SKT. That was a beautiful combo there. The cast into the flip, and they're trying to hold top side here as well. Huni is back, and the roam is coming up. Faker has ultimate.
Bit more damage on the serrated Dirk, stacking up his tier now. These guys went Dorans in the bot lane and top lane first to hopefully be able to farm up, hopefully have a little bit more HP, and it set them back just a bit.
All right, let's see the replay again. Huni lost his flash earlier because he did not respect the lane swap from Misfits. That means now it's very easy for Ignar to actually just stun lock him and take him down in time. And Alfari just instantly TPs into this top lane here to get a kill on Wolf.
Wolf wasn't even 6 there. What was he going to do more than shield? But great play here for SKT to react on something topside. Mid was not paying attention.
And then just look at the combo here. This is so perfect from Blank and Faker. Look at that. The cast perfectly into the flip. No gap in between that, so no chance for Maxlor to actually get away, and had his flash available.
It's important that Faker doesn't get too many kills for Misfits here. They want to get more. Huni still no flash.
Nice ultimate.
Solar Flare into the Zenith blade. Daybreak lockdown, and that's Hansama coming up with another kill. Ignar putting these on a silver platter.
That's what we talked about earlier here. Lulu, Talia, Jace, these kind of champions without dashes, you can land that Leona ulti onto them if there's no flash.
Ignar is showing no fear playing against SK Telecom T1. He is full aggression. He is not backing down. And this is a legend in the making. Ignar is playing out of his mind.
They get to taunt SKT in their own jungle now. Explosive shot takes Blank down below half health. Ignar is going to be the first one to take the turret shot with Daybreak aggro. And they're going to be able to walk out with another kill. Faker with the Weaver's Wall, not able to make any moves or block the fight off. Comes in just a little late.
And we keep seeing Misfits make plays around the dual lane here because Ignar and Hansama are playing so well. Faker trying to help his team. He's trying to defend them on both sides, but he can't get there in time. And meanwhile, in the bot lane, we see some of the problems for Vayne. She takes forever to do anything. Push a lane, get her items. It all takes too long.
Yeah, and I mean, when you give 6 kills and an early turret to a Tristana, the gold lead is enormous for Hansama. He is 2,600 gold ahead of his opponent right now in its early stages of the game. He's going to be on 2 items, likely before Bang has really anything happening over on his side.
Yeah, Bang wants to rush that Rage Blade, the same thing we saw from Uzi when he played the Vayne earlier here during Worlds. Top lane, Huni once again plagued by losing that flash to a lane swap he should have seen coming. Ends up going down, and Hansama picks up another easy kill.
And this is just brilliant from Misfits, because not only are you getting Hansama stronger and stronger and stronger, you've now gotten Huni out of this matchup against Alfari. Alfari is being given time to farm. That is almost equalized. He was massively behind earlier in the game, but Huni cannot match up to this Fed Tristana with the support of that Leona.
So now this top lane tower should be an easy objective here for Misfits. They didn't have to look at Rift Herald and mid lane tower after. Get Faker pushed far back on the map so he can't impact the side lanes with his ulti, because again, at the moment, Faker is trying his best to actually apply pressure and still try and defend his losing side lanes.
Top lane getting pushed. Hansama solo gold for himself as well. Absolutely huge. 6.6 to Bang's 4,000 gold right now. And you can see it in the items.
You certainly can. But one bright spot for SKT has been Faker. He is strong, but they're going for the engage again.
That's doing the kill. Easy hit onto Blank.
Like the synergy there, when you land the snare from Maxlaw, Ignar can just go straight into melee range and then apply his own stun. It's a good synergy between Ivan and Leona.
Yeah, they're going to go straight in, try to get some damage down on this turret, but he can retreat back to the Rift Herald, which is available. I think that may be the option here for Misfits, and things are looking so good for them.
So effectively right now, if you're SKT, if you get hit by one skill shot that applies any sort of CC, you're most likely dying, or you have to at least blow your flash. Because look at this here. As soon as Maxlaw connects the snare onto Blank, Ignar can get into melee range, being pulled in, and instantly he can just apply a stun. There's no chance for Blank to really escape as soon as the snare hits.
Yeah, and then it's the perfect CC combo there. The Q to follow up the route, into your own ultimate, into the shockwave. There's so much CC, and Hansama, this is the dream game for him. Already tied against SKT in the quarterfinals. 7 kills to his name at 15 minutes on this Tristana. He has the support of the Ivern. He has the support of the Orianna. And he has been set up perfectly to carry this game.
Yes, 2 fully completed items, tier 2 boots as well. And the enemy AD carry is just going back now to get his first.
Don't worry, he just bought his blasting one. So now he's...
there we go.
And is there any question to where Misfits is playing around? 100% kill participation from both bot lane members. They've been involved in everything, and they are creating everything.
Exactly, and while Hansama has played incredible, not to take away from him, Ignar has been the catalyst.
Absolutely.
In these last 2 games, the Blitzcrank, now the Leona, these incredible picks coming out for him have to be executed perfectly, or they fall apart completely. They look horrible. Instead, he's been able to execute flawlessly in these games, even bringing out innovations like the Fervor of Battle on this Leona. And this is just a series to remember already.
And we had teams looking at this bot lane meta of the Lulu Caitlyn's and the Relic Shield AD carries, and they said, okay, Caitlyn is the answer. Misfits are saying, no. You got to move to support. That's where you find the answer. You got to find some way of creating picks, force fights against these very passive lanes. It's a Vayne Lulu lane. They're never going to do anything in the early game, and they're getting destroyed.
And this is step 2 now. Take over your enemy's jungle. You had the Blitzcrank, vision control powerful with that. Likewise, it is with the Leona. You cannot face check into this team because the damage will be there from Hansama to burn you down if you get hit by any of that crowd control.
Mountain Drake now picked up by Misfits as they reset the map a bit, find out where they're going to go next. The map is objective free. We won't see Baron for another 3 minutes, and SKT loves to use these windows.
But now, of course, with the Rift Herald here, you have to start looking at either one of these side lane turrets if they get a kill to secure a tier 2 one, or you want to get the mid lane tower, ideally, away from Faker. But he's sitting there non-stop, just wave clearing, trying to make sure Misfits can't get the tower too fast, because the longer that tower is alive, the longer SKT can actually defend and try and delay the game. Because at this point, all they can hope for is go full late game with this Vayne here.
Yeah, and honestly, while Vayne is a great scaling champion, it can be so difficult to actually navigate the team fights when there's so much CC. If you get hit by anything, you're going to get burst down, and it's so difficult to actually match up against Tristana, who has longer range and all this crowd control, people diving you. It feels like a game where Jace and the Vayne have to be in opposite lanes. You have to be split pushing, and you have to be able to be ahead to actually effectively do that oftentimes.
Exactly, and at this point, you're seeing as the Vayne couldn't do anything in the laning phase. You could have gone for different AD carry choices, which would have had the same result in the early game, but much easier to play in the late game fights. And I'm looking at a Twitch from Bang that he's used to come back in games during group stages so often already, where he needs one good team fight and he takes 2 or 3 members down. And Shocker in the mid lane.
Faker, it's going to be Maxlor just behind him. They flash in for the root caller. Here's Daisy, and Faker's forced to flash over the wall as Wolf is still there for wild growth protection.
Again, Misfits are trying to force Faker away from mid so they can get this tier 1 tower down.
Yeah, and they should be able to. Ignar is here. He's going to drop the Rift Herald. Hansama is coming up as well. Push Faker out. Both summoners down. And now Faker cannot reliably wave clear because the threat of a dive is so high.
Weaver's Wall
it's
pinching
actually
in the
blocking
Rift
the Herald.
Herald. 2,000 IQ Weaver's Wall. And it looks like they're going to be able to get that taken down as Rift Herald just squeezes through. 9-4 here, and mid turret has the pressure of shelling.
And that ult was so close to catching Faker. He got hit by the slow, not the stun. Had it fully connected, that would likely be a dead Faker.
We might have to see Wolf get an early Mikhails in this game here to try and help his team out, because at the moment, there's no cleanse on Faker's mid lane here. There's obviously no cleanse on Bang's AD carry either. So if they get hit by, again, that one CC, so much more will follow, and they're not going to leave this fight alive then. They will die.
One of the nicest things about this game as well for Hansama, he's so much gold, and really, there's no armor on the other team. You don't have to go back for a Last Whisper. You don't have to do that at all. You can go straight to this double Shiv type item. You have the Energizer build. You can punch through anyone who gets crowd control.
Another thing to note here is that Wolf went with Spell Thieves for the early laning phase to try and make sure they didn't lose too hard, and it's prevented him from getting the same amount of gold as we see from the coin builds. So he's actually not currently sitting there and just rushing towards 2 or 3 items as we've seen so often from these supports. He's only completed the Ardent Sensor at this point with 20 minutes into the game. He is so far behind.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually gotten 500 less gold than even the Targon's item for Ignar, so really has not been able to actually use that item effectively, because when you are behind, when you are pushed down, it's hard to move up and actually proc that Spell Thief. So you have to sit back, so he doesn't even have the quest completed.
Can't proc it when you're dead, and that's what Wolf are realizing.
Now here's my question, guys. Usually it's going to be, how does Misfits find the way into the fight? But how does SKT find a hole in Misfits' composition at this point?
I think it's split push. I think that's really your only way to win, unless Misfits make some sort of misposition and Blank can find a perfect ultimate and split them up. I feel like this team fight is just so much better from Misfits in a 5v5 than it is from SKT, with the front line, with double shielding, with Shockwave as well from Power of Evil, and a super fed AD carry.
And there's no flash on Faker at the moment, so if he steps forward, Ignar will just ult straight in his face and try and take down this Talia instantly. I like the play around Baron to force SKT to constantly react. Now they need to force the fight.
They need to start it because Jace is not coming, and they need to force a teleport out at the very least, but they're rushing this down very fast.
Look for the turn here from Ignar's side. He wants Faker.
They use the brush, great ball control from Power of Evil. They go right onto Blank. They're going to be out with Daisy as well. Blank's able to get out with a shield, and they take down Alfari immediately. Misfits making a misstep, and they will have to back off from Baron.
Right there, Ignar missed everything on the Talia. That was the target he was looking for. No flash, and if you want to cleanly snowball the game, then you have to hit this one. It was a good play to start the Baron and then turn, but the execution failed.
And even if they had fully committed to Blank very likely would not have been able to escape with the CC landing on him. They went for the big target. It does flop, and this buys SKT a lot of time. It gets them some gold. They knock down another turret, and they do hold on to this game.
One of the big things for SKT when they're defending is look for mistakes from the enemy team. Try and punish those mistakes to delay the game. They had one right here.
Right back to it.
Misfits are stunning it again. Leona ulti is ready in just about 10 to 15 seconds.
They really want to force out the teleport here from Huni. He is TPing in just now, but Vayne is so far away, and they may actually just be able to go for a finish. Blank has come, though.
Faker was already bought. Vayne committed to the red. They said if Blank can get there, we can stall it. And they are going to be able to, but this is still Misfits trying to walk Faker and SKT around the map, not let them get control.
And a little bit too fast here for Misfits buying into the hype. There was no ulti for Ignar while they were on the Baron. They needed that cooldown ready. Also didn't want to risk Blank stealing that Baron away from them and once again slowing down the game.
Still, I will say, I think the play came out well for them. The trade of teleports, I think, is actually positive for Misfits because I don't feel like Huni can actually afford to be in a side lane now with the threat of engage from Alfari when he is grouped. And Jace wants to be in that side lane.
Ignar thought he hit the snare, so he just put the ulti in the same spot to chain CC Faker. But Faker sidestepped the first one and of course sidestep the next one.
And Faker is in a position where he is the hope for his team, the biggest hope for his team right now. 3-0-0, having a strong game for himself, and has found himself in positions like this time and time again throughout the years where he's been able to pull it back.
And one of the big notes when we see teams get ahead against SKT is that they need to keep being aggressive. They can't start slowing down. The moment you slow down and delay the game, you give SKT a chance to farm the side lanes and get 2 to 3 items, and they can start team fighting you. Misfits are trying to continue just forcing plays. They had 2 Baron plays, got into Furnace Drake now, looking for something around mid.
I mean, with 3 items done on your AD carry, they should be forcing the fight, and Huni has been forced into grouping. SKT is going to have to play this kind of guerrilla warfare style where they're off to the side, they're trying to clear out the waves and deny Misfits the ability to go forward and push.
For the next fight, there is flashes available on all the different members that can't actually dodge a Leona ulti easily, and I'm looking at the Lulu, Taliyah, and the Jace once again.
And that's where Leona can start to really kind of fall flat, because Lulu has such a high baseline of effectiveness. When you're applying these shields, when you're speeding up your AD carry, you will always have value in a fight if you're not dying right off the bat, whereas the Leona needs to nail the CC chain, or she is adding almost nothing.
Needs to get that Righteous Glory as well. Get even more engaged here for Misfits. Keep jumping at SKT. Next step for them, though, seeing as Drake is dead, is reclaim the Baron area. Get your control wards down. Get your vision once again.
I've got to point out the Gnasher's Tooth from PoE. I know it's been talked about time and time again, but there's just doesn't feel like the game for it. When there's not frontliners who can consistently auto-attack, it feels like the Morellos would be the more effective choice, but we're going to have to track and see how well he can make it work.
Yeah, there's also a chance he values it very much for the auto-attack damage on things like Baron and a turret as well to keep snowballing the game. It's only 20 less AP than the Morello for him at the moment, so getting the attack speed could be valuable.
Bang well with a Knight's Vow from Blank. He'll be able to get a little added stats from that, as well as those shields coming in from Wolf. SKT setting up their fight just a little bit.
On to Huni!
Daybreak onto Huni. That's Hansama over the wall, but he gets the hit out, which doesn't allow for the quick Zenith Blade from Ignar.
That was one flash now, but the ulti's on cooldown from Ignar's side. Not rank 2 just yet, and at the moment he's waiting another minute.
Well, Ignar has to be careful here. All of SKT has come.
Are still pretty tanky with that W on, but when a 5-man brawl, he goes down fast. Hansama trying to fire in on Bang from the other side. Maxlor throws out Daisy, thinking that would continue.
And again, we're starting to see these small mistakes here from Misfits, where SKT are so good at finding the little opening and then just punish it instantly. They invested time to try and kill Huni. He flashed away, and then Ignar kind of losing grasp of the mid lane, where his team did not actually have any priority and ends up dying.
Yeah, exactly. Power of Evil is up on the top side of the map. He does not have his ultimate. They're not looking for a fight, and if you're not grouped up as that 5-man squad, you can't be wandering around when SKT is not on the map, when you don't have the vision to allow you to do so. But still, they're trying so hard to force these fights because they know how massive the advantage they have is at this stage. I mean, still, even with the second item completed for Bang, Hansama is hilariously ahead.
Yeah, exactly. They can just go back to Baron, set up their control wards, and when SKT walks in to fight them, just kill Blank. Like, you don't even have to get to the back line. This is a Gragas with just a Knight's Vow and a Cinderhulk as his defensive tools. This Tristana will take him down very quickly.
Yeah, but they have not been able to do it, and Huni's teleport is back up, which means he's going to be in the side lanes, pressuring turrets.
Now's the time then for Misfits there. Trying to take over control here. Need a control ward. Ideally also in the Baron pit to see if anything has been put in behind, or at least sweep the Baron area from Maxlor here with this Iron. And then push your top lane, push your mid lane, and start taking or making sure that SKT can't see anything in the river. So when SKT are trying to go in and stop you, it's Blank face checking, and he kind of delivers himself to you, and you can kill him.
Now they have the vision controlled. They've swept out the wards around. They can threaten to start up this Baron, and Blank is going to have to try to get vision control. We'll see if Misfits can navigate this Baron dance effectively, because I do feel if you can secure a Baron with the position that they're in at this stage, it denies completely the split push priority from SKT, and they'll be forced to fight you and very likely lose the game.
So right now, after we had the first wave of vision, Misfits reset to restock here on control wards. This is now the time for SKT to go into this river and try and kill whatever wards they can. But by the time they've killed them, Misfits are right back out on the map and can place new ones in case anyone even died, and they regain control for another few minutes of the Baron area. And those few minutes, that's where Misfits needs to strike.
And because they were so scared, they didn't have vision on those people going back to base. They didn't have the confidence to go in. But Huni is on the bot side. I feel like Misfits needs to start something. You can't allow Jace to tear you apart.
They can Blast Cone over as well, but this ward is actually very smart from SKT to see if the Blast Cone is being used into the Baron pit. So they know the Baron is starting.
Blank is maybe too far. They can
Blank
actually
is
just
way
finish
too far away. This is Baron for Misfits. Still gonna be the fight. Ignar could get pushed away. No condemn there. 3 silver bolts coming through. Blank says we can still fight this. Let's go, team. That's gonna be the redemption. Huge shockwave onto 3 members of SKT. But Huni's already teleported to the back line. That ward behind Baron was his in, and it's also his out. Faker doing what he can to bring the pain from the side, but SKT's been pushed out by Power of Evil.
3 for 1 and the Baron for Misfits, despite Hansama jumping in a bit too far. He does get taken down, but SKT had to commit so much to that kill that they had nothing left, and Misfits will be out on the map with a Baron buff and a chance to put SKT 1 game away from elimination.
After Misfits just slowed down a little bit and got their vision back around the Baron, they could keep baiting around it. SKT had to go back and reset, get their own wards as well, and then Misfits strike. And even with the ward behind the pit to spot the blast zone, they can't react in time. Ignar jumps away here. Hansama gets hit by the body slam engage from Blank, and that's why he's not able to deal enough damage in the fight here. Great shockwave though from Power of Evil. Another carry just steps up, and of course Alfari takes the kill.
Yeah, completely fight-saving shockwave there as everyone piled in on Hansama. He used his rocket jump very aggressively and did go down, but makes them pay for it, and he's at such a strong point. And look at the damage put out there from PoE. So effective with that shockwave.
Shockwave dissonance, hardly got any autos in. I'm seeing the effectiveness.
Hey, he rushed down the Baron with it, and it's worked out so far for him, and he's very comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's why he's going for the item in this game here. It is still only 20 less AP. So
right.
It's not a huge downgrade for him in terms of his actual damage, and Void Staff now completed. Huni is trying to be annoying in a side lane, but the rest of Misfits, they don't care. They're much stronger in the 4-man group.
And Alfari should never take a fight against Huni. All he needs to do is hold the turrets, play defensive. You don't need to be the hero in that 1v1. You need to hold him even. This is where, you know, when Cloud9 were playing this sort of a comp against SKT, they fell flat because Huni was able to get a solo kill on impact and delay the game.
And we have no flash on the bot lane from SKT. Misfits can actually threaten to this tower dive if they can instantly burst down walls. That's why you see SKT stay so far back. Just give up the tower here. Try and see if you can delay Misfits from getting an inhib with this Baron buff here. Meanwhile, Huni is trying to go super aggressive in the top lane and get some towers for his team.
See if Misfits can act on the bottom side. Baron still with 1.5 minutes left, but they are waiting on a minion wave. This gives Huni time to back up and be somewhere else. Teleports are still down for both of those top laners, so it will be a 4v4 on the bot side if they choose to.
And you have to feel that this is for sure the Misfits turret. I don't think SKT will fight for that. The question is, how aggressive does Misfits go with this? Do they take the gold that they have gone, or do they push for the Baron? I feel like you really want to push aggressively.
Faker can use the defensive wall here to try and force them away from the turret. That's what he's actually going for.
When he got back, and I don't know if Alfari knew it, he's going to start rotating down. When he can join the fight just a few seconds.
Yeah, this is going to be a 5v4. Alfari's not here. Misfits need to get out.
Weaver's wall came in from the side. That's the redemption down, so they can kind of get a bit of play in now. Get that heal back in, and Faker waiting to engage on that side. Gets a good flick onto Power of Evil. Shock Blast comes through. Just another hit, and they take down PoE.
And it's still Faker trying to defend here for SKT. He hides around the corner. Great knockback on the Orianna. We had to see some of the burst here from this Taliyah. And he's been doing his job in this game here. Faker himself. The rest of the team, that's where we're seeing them fall apart. Blank has been trying to assist Faker as much as possible, but he's still been at target as well.
He certainly has. And Misfits, you need to play this a little bit more slowly. Allow time for Jarvan to get up to the turret, to draw someone over there, and then know that you will be able to take a 4v4 when you have the proper vision. Instead, getting a little bit antsy, Faker catches PoE, and as he always seems to, gives his team another lease on life.
4-0-2 for him on this Taliyah pick. A little quiet in the early game, but now he starts to go off. Flash was used in that play, keep himself safe. Let's take stock of where the game is at. 32 minutes in. Hansama had such a great bot lane, now on 4 items. The Bloodthirster being one of those. He feels like he can go straight in. He meets Bang face to face as well. A 2v1 situation, and Hansama comes out on top. 2 summoners down.
Well, trying to go aggressive there to be the hero, to kill Faker, and then make sure his team can actually get an inhib. But this time around, SKT stay alive, and his 2 summoners down from Tristana. Still no flash for Faker. If there is a fight, Ignar can try and target him.
Yeah, and I mean, Blank, though, can look for Hansama, catch him with his own flash. Bang has his flash up, so there is the ability to target Hansama. He needs to play safe enough, survive in these fights.
There's so little gold right now on Wolf here with this Lulu. he actually just sold his Spell Thief and said, I need some sort of gold income here, and picked up a coin instead. Because at the moment, with 34 minutes or 33 minutes into the game, not sure why I stopped right there, didn't really matter if it's a minute on and off. But he's still only sitting on just the Ardent Sensor and a Side Stone.
Oh, and it's actually Faker's ultimate pushing Hansama out of the jump. That actually saved Faker. It stops the one auto attack that would have come off, that would have actually killed him. But again, they're looking for Faker.
Oh, can't do it twice in a row, can you? Yes, you can if your Faker stays alive. And he is drawing so much pressure, it's actually allowing SKT to reposition for these fights. Still very low. They lose Wolf just on the bottom side of the map in the blink of an eye.
And this means Bang has no support now. Misfits can go super aggressive, push in. They should be looking to force on these turrets if they can, to knock down an inhibitor if they can, but they are pulling back for now. Faker is going to clear out the wave.
We have Baron spawning in a minute. Elder Drake coming very soon as well. Two huge objectives here for Misfits to secure them and try and use them to close out this game here. They don't want to keep going longer and longer into the late game.
See what happened here.
Well, there is a very squishy Lulu who walks around the corner, and Ignore kills him.
Righteous Glory just getting him in there so quickly in the shockwave from PoE, securing the kill.
But again, we still don't have any kills or anything because there's been no gold income for Wolf.
A very interesting choice here from Hansama. He actually bought up the Last Whisper, decides he doesn't want that. He goes with the QSS instead, selling that. Even though there is a random wins on blank, he's prioritizing that cleanse, prioritizing the playmaking and perhaps some of the safety he gets him, but there's really not a lot of CC besides something like a polymorph coming out of the Lulu.
Oh, they want to kill Huni in the bottom lane here.
Well, he may be caught out, but SKT is moving over.
TP's away, so they get a teleport and Baron had just spawned. This is very good for Misfits because it means Huni can't sit in the bottom lane anymore and apply pressure. He needs to join his team, and now Misfits can still look for a 5-on-5 team fight.
Hansama
wavering a little bit. Hansama looking to make it even more, though. Just 3 shots puts Huni back, and SKT is onto the Baron, blocked out by the Weaver's Wall.
So risky for SKT.
Way over, gets the Cataclysm down. Maxlor just on the edge. Gets it from Maxlor. Misfits get Baron. Bangs low. Blink is going down. He goes down in the fight, and that is going to be Hansama's damage away. They for Faker. Wolf has to peel off to the left, and Misfits come up huge.
Huni gets the kill to keep them alive, but Ignar is looking for Faker. They could get him down here.
There are the wards. Faker only has a little bit of mana left. They're going to say how far. You take that first bit of damage, flag and drag back in.
No way out.
The king onto one, and Faker goes down.
Not even Faker can defend SKT in this game here. 2 Barons now for Misfits. Massive steal from Maxlor after SKT tried to rush down the objective, used the Talia wall to deny Misfits from getting close enough, but just didn't have the damage to burst it fast. And then Maxlor can actually get in the pit.
The biggest difference from all of these Barons is SKT stayed with the only one where the other team comes in. Misfits peeled off of everyone. They never wanted to give SKT that chance, and Maxlor took his opportunity.
He certainly did, and it always feels like those are the plays where these LCK teams turn it around. The 50-50s never feel like an even fight against these teams, but Maxlor is the hero. He takes it down, and now they're looking to set up a pick around this Elder Dragon. They want Hansama to be back. He will be there, and SKT will not have Faker, their strongest member, in the game.
7 seconds left on him, another 20 or so to get to this Elder Drake, but it's not going to happen. 3 stacked up for Misfits. They get the Elder 37 minutes in and are looking great.
And this is the Elder and the Baron. This is the death push. You will not get stronger than this for the Misfits. Now it comes down to execution. Can you make these buffs count? Can you pull this off against the greatest team we have ever seen?
And the 5 players who's never gone to Worlds before take a 2-1 lead over SKT in this best of 5. Faker once again trying to delay the push from Misfits with the wall here on Talia.
The side lanes, though, are going to be pushing for Misfits. They have prepped their waves. They have done their due diligence. They have vision. They have the items. They have the buffs, and they have the capability to put this to a match point.
And the story of Misfits was that early game, but where's the closing? How do they get into the base? They have seemed to completely erase that from their history, and they are getting in when they want, how they want, and taking what they want. 38 minutes into the game, the inhibitors break again for SKT's base, but Misfits is still back and forth, yo-yoing the aggression into defense and getting what they want.
Still not killing it yet here. Blank is trying to be a threat. constantly telling Hansama that if he steps too close, then the body slam flash can happen. There is QSS though on Hansama to stay alive. He can go forward and kill this inhib.
He just waits for the rapid fire auto there. Very patient play. Now down to the bot lane. Both side lanes still pushing for Misfits. SKT has had no time to answer this, and we saw how fast the turrets do go down with the Mountain Dragon, with the Elder Dragon buff, and this super buffed up Hansama.
We have another minute on this Baron buff here. 3 cannons in this wave for them. Faker trying to once again defend.
SKT needs to force a fight. I don't think that you can allow Hansama to keep sieging you out like this.
Nice play there from Huni though, killing 2 of the cannons straight away. Hansama gets the tower.
Gets the ball as well, could get the jump forward, but they play it safe. This time he holds the rocket jump for safety as they're onto the inhibitor. Everything is about protecting Hansama or being in front with Ignar.
Look at this incredible play, though. The perfect timing on the waves coming in. They have another minion wave up there on the top side. Nice wall from Faker, denies it, but Hansama just used his rocket jump, so he needs to be careful. Yeah. Wait for his team.
Shock blast coming through from Huni, only tickling Misfits now. He's not finding big AoE damage, which usually means he has to go hammer form quick, and you do not want to do that against this team. It looks like Misfits will hold off, will wait for those waves. They're going to be pouring into the bottom soon and in that mid lane.
Look at Bang right near. He sees 2 members split up. Oh, Blank as well. The concept trying to find.
That was the flash and the ultimate from Blank. Misfits now should have the confidence. They can push up, but Power of Evil without his flash as well. Hansama, it's on him.
Faker!
Faker low, Faker shot wave in. A few more shots to him. He's going to have about 500 HP. Cataclysm takes him down. Wolf is very low as Blank falls. The map is open. The base is being crushed by Misfits. SKT very low right now. As Wolf looks to make his way out. Bang has to hang the fountain. Misfits are going to be able to take the Nexus turrets.
Get the inhib for now. Bang did stay alive in this fight here. 3 inhibs gone. Misfits still in the base. It's currently the 3 members against the 2, and Alfire will TP in.
This is that part where Huni has to go to hammer form. It only gets more dangerous for him. The teleport coming in so the minions stay alive. That super minion, in fact. And they are going for Huni now, looking for the kills, looking to secure it, looking to be the first team ever to accomplish what no team has done before as they take SKT to game point.
Can you believe it, man? They pick Leona in this game. They win the bot lane. They keep creating picks. They get 2 Barons in this game as well. They get all the Drakes, and SKT are pushed so far back on the map, they don't have an answer at the moment.
It's just unreal. SKT being pushed to their limit and beyond. Now 1 game from being eliminated by the 3rd seed from Europe, 2nd seed.
And they're creating their own little meta here during Worlds. They're not playing the same style everyone else is playing. They're not just saying, yeah, let's go to 50 minutes with a Lulu and a Janna on each side and then see which AD carry is the best. They are completely changing it up. Again, I guarantee you, Ignar has more picks ready. There is still, we haven't seen the Thresh yet, there's still a board for him to play as well. It's not just Leona, it's not just Blitzcrank, it's just Ignar as the player forcing SKT back.
Exactly, and he's having the series of a lifetime. This guy has been unstoppable, and he's got to be putting the fear now into SKT. Are they going to be able to play confidently? Are they going to be able to execute on the game plans that they have when Ignar could always be there lurking?
Exactly, and then Ignar gets so many kills for his AD carry, who's actually playing so confident. Hansama is 18 years old, and right now on the big stage, he's in the front line, pushing Misfits forward.
9-9 that game, participating 9-3-9, participating in 18 kills. Absolutely crazy for Misfits across the map. And to hear more about the Misfits, to hear about how Misfits brought their series versus SKT to match point. Let's
nice prediction,
analyst
guys.
desk.
That's about how
This show is screaming 3-0
yeah,
backstage the
I don't know
whole
what that's
pregame.
about.
Come
but
on,
Riv,
man.
Riv, I feel ya. I am almost at a loss for words. I'm hoping you guys aren't, because Misfits right now is taking it to the reigning champs. 2-1, we're going to match point, and they do it with fervor. Leona.
It's amazing. It's unprecedented as well, but everything is unprecedented until it happens for the first time. Fervor Leona